Good evening, one and all. I welcome you all to Ganesh IAS Academy. In today's session, we'll be seeing environment-based current affairs from the date 23rd June to 30th June 2023. So let us get into the news articles one by one and let us understand the news articles. The first news that we are going to see for today is green credit scheme. Okay, so we must have to understand what is green credit scheme, who has released it, and all those details. Okay, we'll understand everything in a greater detail. Green credit scheme. What is the scheme? Okay, why is it in the news? Because Environment Ministry has issued a draft notification detailing a proposed green credit scheme that will incentivize a host of activities including afforestation programs, water conservation, waste management, and remedying air pollution. All these will be included as environmental positive actions which will receive incentives in the form of green credit. Okay, who has released it? Environment Ministry. Okay, so we have to get into the details of what this scheme is and what is the present scheme that we are using it, how is it different from the present scheme, and all those details we must have to see. Okay, and these credits can also be traded for money. Okay, but then how that is going to work, how are we going to trade that mechanism has not been released till now. Okay, so individuals and organizations will generate green credits from this. Okay, we'll understand the details of it one by one. First thing is, currently what system is being used? We have a system called net present value system. What is it? Let me explain that. Say for example, there is an industry A. Okay, there is a company which is planning to set up an industry. Okay, the company is A. They are planning to set up an industry, but this area that they have chosen is a forest area. Okay, when they go for a developmental process in a forest area, then the forest area tend to get destroyed. That is, they will cut all the trees which is in that particular area, so that area will no more be a forest. Okay, so there is loss of forest area. Loss of forest area. So to compensate this loss, what this particular company will do is, they will find another non-forest area. Okay, they will find another non-forest area, and then they will also pay net present value of this particular area which they have occupied. Okay, so they have to find a non-forest area which is appropriate to this. Okay, which must be contiguous to this forest area, and then they must also pay something called as net present value. Net present value is nothing but the present economic equivalent of this forest area. Okay, that they have to pay, and to whom they are paying? They are paying it to the state forest department. So in the current system, what do we have? They have to find a non-forest area, an appropriate non-forest area. In addition to that, they must also pay something called as net present value. To whom are they paying? To the state forest department. This is the current system. But the new green credit system, what does that include? What does that mean? It means there will be an individual or a private entity or a forest community who can find a land, and then they will grow plantations in this particular land. And they will grow it for 3 years, 3+ years. After growing it for 3+ years, they will apply for certification from the forest department, and then the forest department will certify this particular land as a compensatory forest land. Okay, what is the certificate that they are giving? Compensatory forest land certificate. Who's giving it? Again, the state forest department is the authority which is giving the certificate that this particular land can be considered as a compensatory forest land. Now what will the company do is, instead of giving a non-forest area and also the net present value to the forest department, now they will approach this individuals and other entities, the forest communities who are developing this forest area, and then they will directly buy and sell it to the state forest department. So this is what is going to be done. So what is green credit here? The credit that the individuals or the private entities or the forest communities get is called as the green credit. From whom are they getting this green credit? They are getting it from this company. Okay, it can be a monetary value also. Okay, it has a monetary value. Okay, so this is how the new scheme works. This is just an example I'm giving, but then in the draft notification that they have given recently, they have included a huge range of activities which can be included as a positive environmental action. That we'll understand it. Okay, so let us see that. Currently, in case of loss of forest, the industry need to find appropriate non-forest land. As we saw, they have to find appropriate non-forest land. Other than that, they must also pay net present value, that is the economic equivalent, the current economic equivalent. To whom are they paying? To the state forest department. Very clear. Next is, then it is the forest department's responsibility. Okay, now who becomes responsible? The forest department becomes responsible because they have been given a new forest area, that is a non-forest area, and then they are also given the net present value, okay, of the area which has been utilized, okay, the forest which has been taken for industrial constructions. Okay, so now it becomes the forest department's responsibility to grow appropriate vegetation, and in a period of time it will become a forest. Okay, so this is how it will happen. Next is green credit scheme, the new scheme that we have now. It will allow agencies to identify land and grow plantations like we saw, and after 3 years, 3+ years, what will they get? The land would be eligible to be considered as a compensatory forest land, as we saw. Okay, who will certify this? The forest department will certify this based on certain criteria. Okay, now when the industry is in need of a forest land, then the industry will approach these individuals or these agencies, and they will pay it for the parcels of the forest land which they are going to buy, and then it would be transferred to whom? The forest department. Okay, and be recorded as a forest department, as a forest land. So what do we have to understand here is, it will allow the forest to be traded as a commodity. In this new scheme, that is green credit scheme, the forest will be considered as a commodity, because from one person we are going to buy forest and then we are going to sell it to others. Okay, here we are selling it to or giving it to the forest department and buying it from other agencies. Okay, so here the forest becomes a commodity. That point is very important. Next is, the scheme will encourage plantations by individuals outside the traditional forest area. Okay, all these time only the forest areas had those particular trees and all, but then now when we go for green credit scheme, even outside traditional forest areas there will be plantations. So this will encourage plantation outside traditional forest area. That is an important point. Next is, it will also help in solving various industries complaint. What does industries complain here? Because they have to find an appropriate non-forest area, right? That problem is solved here. Okay, they no more need to go in search of non-forest area, and they no need to pay that net present value. Okay, directly they can give this land to the forest department. So that problem is solved. Other than that, this scheme will also supplement the Green India Mission. Okay, in India we have Green India Mission, which is one of the initiatives to combat climate change. Okay, we are producing forest areas, so we will produce more greenery, green cover will be more, thus it will combat climate change. Okay, so it is also in line with Green India Mission, that we must know. Next, green credit program. In this notification, draft notification, this green credit program has been given an emphasis. What is this green credit program? Okay, through this green credit program, the central government has decided to establish what? Domestic voluntary market mechanism. So domestic, within country, voluntary. This is going to be voluntary. There are no any laws which will compel people or other agencies to produce forest. It is voluntary in nature. Okay. Next is, it will be a market mechanism, that is supply and demand based mechanism. Okay. They will create supply and then they will also create demand, so that there will be easy flow of transaction. Okay. And this is known as the green credit program. Okay. And this program was initially announced in the Union Budget 2023-24. The recent budget, they have announced this green credit scheme. Other than that, this point is also important. It is implemented under the purview of Environment Protection Act of 1986. Okay, just because it is dealing with forest areas, it is not coming under the purview of Forest Conservation Act, but it is the Environment Protection Act of 1986. This point is important. Okay, statements like these are important for your prelims examination. Okay, if there is a confusing statement, then most likely it will be asked in your prelims examination. Okay, next is, what is the objective of the program? The objective is to create a market based mechanism for providing incentives in the form of green credit. They are going to give green credits as incentives. Okay, who are all eligible to get these incentives? Earlier in that example, we saw individuals or private entities. Okay, also forest communities. Other than that, there are also other agencies which are eligible to get these incentives. Who are they? Again, individuals, farmer producer organizations, cooperatives, forestry enterprises, sustainable agricultural enterprises, urban and rural local bodies, private sectors, industries, organizations. They all have to do environmental positive actions. Then only they are able to get that green credits. Okay, so these are the people who are eligible to get incentives. They all can get incentives if they do environmental positive actions. Next is, this point is very important. Earlier in that example, what we saw is, they are going to create a forest area and that would be traded, and for that they will get green credit. But in this draft, what they have included is, they have included a range of activities which can get green credits. It is not only green cover production or forest production. Even when we go for water conservation, sustainable agriculture, from that also we can get green credit which can be traded. Okay, so they have given 8 sectors. Okay, 8 sectors have been identified under this program and they have certain objectives. What are they? We have to see one by one. First thing is tree plantation based green credit. The first example, like what we mentioned in the example, the same thing, tree plantation based green credit. It is to promote activities for increasing the green cover across the country through plantation and related activities. Obvious. Next is water based green credit. Not only tree plantation based, also water based. So when we go for promotion of water conservation, water harvesting or water use efficiency has been promoted, or water saving has been promoted, then all of them will be getting green credit. Okay, also water treatment and reuse of wastewater. Next is sustainable agriculture based green credit. What is sustainable agriculture? That is when we go for promotion of natural and regenerative agricultural practices. Other than that, if we go for land restoration to improve productivity, soil health and also nutritional value of the products, food products, then also such activities will also get green credit. Okay, under sustainable agriculture based green credits. Next is waste management based green credit. In this waste management, that is for waste management including collection, segregation and treatment, all of these processes will also get green credit. This is the 4th sector that we are seeing. There are 4 more sectors. What are they? Air pollution reduction based green credit. Okay, like if there is an activity which reduces air pollution or other pollution abatement activities, will get air pollution based green credits. Next is mangrove conservation and restoration based green credit. That is, when we go for conservation and restoration of mangroves, mangroves play an important role in coastal environments. Okay, coastal areas, mangrove plays an important role. Okay, so when we go for conservation of mangrove forest, then such activities will also gain green credits. Next is eco-mark based green credit. What is eco-mark? Actually, this eco-mark is like a standardization thing which is given by BIS. Okay, what is BIS? Bureau of Indian Standards. They will give you the certificate that certain product or certain service is eco-mark service or eco-mark product, which means they cause less harm to the environment. Okay, they are environmental friendly products or environmental friendly services. They will get eco-mark certificate. If there is a product which is getting eco-mark certificate, then such products will also gain green credits. Okay, next is sustainable building and infrastructure based green credit. Okay, when we go for sustainable construction, okay, construction of building and other infrastructure using sustainable technology and material. What is the sustainable technology? We already have seen this in multiple previous sessions. That sustainability is we developing now, keeping in mind the future generation also. Okay, our future generation must also be enjoying the same kind of resources that we are enjoying now. Okay, keeping in mind that thing we are developing currently, that is called as sustainable. Okay, so even such infrastructure activities will get green credit. Next is green credit program implementation rules. How are we going to implement this green credit program? That we need to know. Now in this draft, what they have said is they will be implementing it in a phased and iterative approach. Okay, initially they will not be giving importance to all the sectors that has been mentioned and all the activities under the sector. Okay, they will be going in a phased manner, which means in initial phase 2 to 3 activities from the sectors will be chosen and then they will be given green credits, and then later more activities will also be added, okay, under a particular sector. Other than that, in future even more sectors. Now they have mentioned 8 sectors in this particular draft notification. In future there may be more sectors added to this list also. Okay, so this is how it is going to be implemented. Next is who will get green credit and how. Okay, how are we going to get green credit? In the beginning, green credits will be made available to individual or entities who are engaged in selected activities which is mentioned under those 8 sectors. Next is they are the ones who are undertaking environmental interventions. That is why they are getting green credits. Next, these green credits will be made available for trading on a domestic market platform. Okay, but how is this going to be done? That is not mentioned clearly in this draft. For that we need to wait for another draft. Next is benchmarks will be developed for green credits. Okay, they are going to give green credits, but then they will be setting certain criteria, right? Then only they can give. Okay, randomly they cannot assign credits for any activities. Okay, they will develop benchmarks, standards. Next is also digital processes will be developed and established for green program. Okay, now India is giving a major push to digital thing. Okay, digital India is being given a major push. So under this green credit scheme, what all will be digitized? That is self-assessments of eligible green credit activities. This will be digitized. Next is registration of activities, issuance of green credits. Other than that, monitoring of performance and other relevant processes. All this will be digitized in future. Okay, how this is going to be done, we have to wait and watch. Next is we are going to create demand and supply. Since it is a market based mechanism, we have to create demand and supply. How are we going to create demand and supply? That we need to understand. The government's immediate focus will be to create supply. Okay, first they have to supply, then only they can create demand. Okay, they must make sure that there is supply of green credits. So they are focusing to create supply of green credit through voluntary actions. Okay, there will be voluntary actions taken by any individual or any other agencies and then green credits will be supplied to them. So they will be having green credits, and in future what they will do, they will create demand. How are they going to create demand? By introducing laws and regulations to incentivize companies and organizations to purchase credits. Okay, if there is an organization or any company or industries, they will be incentivized if they are going to buy this particular green credit. That such laws and regulations will be made. Okay, so this is how they are going to create demand. So when there is supply and demand, when there is increase in supply and also increase in demand, then the market mechanism will be perfectly working. So that is the focus area. Now next is, unlike carbon markets that primarily trade on greenhouse gas emissions. This point is very important. We will discuss about what is carbon markets in the upcoming slides, but here the carbon markets focuses only on greenhouse gas emissions. They are going to trade only greenhouse gas emissions, but then in this green credit they have broader range of actions. We saw 8 sectors, right? In each sector they will be having multiple activities. Okay, so they have broader range of actions, so this becomes more complex. We won't know how are we going to credit each and every activity, how are we going to standardize each and every activity. That will be a crucial and more complex process here, okay, when we compare to carbon market. Next thing is, one can get carbon credit also. This point is also important, because when we go for generating green credits, in that due process we may also have economic co-benefits. So what is this economic co-benefit? Say for example, they are going for reduction or removal of carbon. Okay, that is economic co-benefit. How are we, like, we'll understand that with an example. Say for example, we are going for water harvesting, rainwater harvesting. That is one activity which is coming under the 8 sectors. One of the 8 sectors, that is water based green credit. Okay, rainwater harvesting. For this we'll get green credit. Sorry. Rainwater harvesting. For this we'll get green credit. Yes. Next, I'm going for tree plantation. Even for this, I'll be getting green credit. But will I get carbon credit here? No. Here, by going for rainwater harvesting, directly I will not be reducing carbon emissions. But when I go for tree plantation, surely I will be reducing carbon emissions. Carbon dioxide will be absorbed through these trees. So I'm going for reduction in carbon emission. So by doing this particular activity, I'm getting green credit. Along with this, I'm also getting carbon credit. But for this, I'm not going to get carbon credit. Here only green credit. So certain activities will also get carbon credit. That is what has been mentioned. Environmental activity generating green credits may have climate co-benefits also, that is reduction in carbon emissions. Okay, so therefore an activity generating carbon credit under green credit program, green credit under green credit program may also get carbon credits from the same activity in the carbon market. Okay, so this point is very important. So what is this carbon market? We need to know. How does this work? We need to understand. What is carbon market? Carbon market is a platform through which emission reductions and removals are converted into tradable assets. The emission reduction is converted into a tradable asset. Say for example, there is a industry which is maintaining proper emission limits, okay, which surpasses the emission criteria. Such industrial units will receive carbon credits. Okay, when they receive carbon credits, they can utilize it to sell it to others also. Okay, to whom will they sell? Those units that are struggling to reduce carbon. Okay, do you understand this? There is a company A which has carbon credit. How did they get this carbon credit? By reducing their carbon emissions. They have done certain activities which reduces carbon emission. Okay, so they have carbon credit. And then there is another company B which is struggling to get carbon credit because they are not doing any activity to reduce carbon dioxide or carbon emission from their industry or from their projects. Okay, so what will they do is they will buy carbon credit from this particular entity A, and then they can compensate it. Okay, so this is how the market works. Okay, so the net carbon emission has to be zero. That is our ambition. With this, we have come to the end of this green credit scheme. Okay, so green credit scheme is one important question area for your prelims as well as your mains. So give importance to this particular topic. The next topic for the day is Miyawaki method. Okay, we might have encountered this particular topic many a times in newspapers, and even in UPSC prelims and mains already they have asked this Miyawaki method. Even group 1 TNPSC exams, they have asked this particular topic in mains examination. Okay, so why is it in news again? Our Prime Minister in his latest Mann Ki Baat episode, he mentioned about this Miyawaki method. That is why we are seeing this. Okay, it is a Japanese method of creating dense urban forest in small area. Okay, for people who are seeing it for the first time, you must have to understand that it is a Japanese method of creating dense urban forest. So Miyawaki method is for urban afforestation. Okay, if there is a question asked on Miyawaki method, then this is how we have to start writing, that it is a method for urban afforestation. Okay, next, who has created it? A Japanese botanist, his name is Akira Miyawaki. Okay, to create dense forest with native plants. Again, all the words are important. They are going to create the plants, the forest using native plants. That is also important. Next, this unique method is used worldwide for urban afforestation by growing forest in someone's backyard. Okay, someone's backyard is also enough to create Miyawaki method. Okay, we need only small area. So how is this method going to work? What are the steps involved in it? That we'll understand. So what are the basic requirements of afforestation under Miyawaki method? What do they require? They require a quite small space. At least 20 square feet must be there. Okay, maximum any amount of area is fine, but at least 20 square feet is required. Next is, one must seed plants very close to each other. Okay, so that they can save space. Okay, within a square feet they will be seeding they will be sowing 4 seeds within a square feet. Okay, so that what is its advantage here? It will allow young trees to protect each other and block sunlight from hitting the forest ground. Why do we have to block the sunlight from hitting the forest ground? To prevent parasitic plant growths. What are parasitic plant growths? Say for example, this is a plant, this is a tree. Okay, if there is sunlight penetration possible, then there are possibilities of weeds, herbs, weeds and herbs and shrubs produced at the bottom. They will be sucking all the essential nutrients, and thus the tree will not get the essential nutrients. Okay, so these are the parasitic plants. Okay, they can be avoided if we go for dense coverage. Okay, so you might have seen that this is a special feature of evergreen forest. Okay, in evergreen forest only we'll be finding such dense forest, that is there won't be any penetration of sunlight at the bottom of those forests. Okay, next is, one must maintain such forest for at least 3 years. This is also a requirement under Miyawaki method. At least 3 years we must have to maintain, and after 3 years they themselves automatically will grow. Okay, they will be self-maintained. Next is afforestation. An afforest can add the following biomass to prepare the earth. So they have to add certain biomass to prepare the earth before going for Miyawaki method. What are the biomass they are saying here? Organic fertilizers, for example, cow pat, okay, and then goat muck and vermicompost. All these are organic fertilizers. Next is perforating materials. Why do we need perforating materials? For the roots to get deeper inside the soil, okay. So for that they are going to use rice husk, wheat husk and groundnut shells. Next, water retainers, okay. They must have water retained or water stagnated condition. For that they are going to use coconut coir and peat moss, okay. Next, mulch. What is mulch? Again, for preventing sunlight from falling on the ground, okay. If there is a ground area and if there is excess sunlight in that particular area, then there are possibility that that area will get dried soon, okay. Water capacity will be lost. So what they'll do is they will cover the land area with something called mulch. What are they using for it? Decaying leaves, dried bark and even compost can be used as a mulch to cover the land from sunlight's exposure. So these are used as biomass to prepare the earth. Next, what are the benefits of planting Miyawaki forest? First benefit is it is 10 times faster in growth rate. Yes. Next, it is 100% native plant species are only used. Again, a useful thing. Next is 30 times better carbon dioxide reduction, because we are going for faster growth rate, thus carbon dioxide reduction will also be faster. Next is 30 times denser than the traditional planting, because they are going to sow seeds very close to each other so that they can save space, okay. So all these benefits are there under Miyawaki forest method. Next is, what are the steps involved in Miyawaki forest method that we need to know? First is we have to choose native species. Okay, we are going to choose only native species. Next is we are going to layer the forest. Okay, like canopy, sub-canopy, small understory trees and then shrubs. Okay, this is shrubs, small understory trees. Next is sub-canopy, canopy. This is how it will be layered. Okay, we'll be having trees of different heights. That is forest layers. Next step is preparing the sites. We have to prepare the site. How are we going to prepare sites? We are going to dig the soil to a depth of 1 meter and put half of the loose soil back into the ground. This is how we are going to prepare the soil, and the rest of the dug land or the soil will be mixed with compost and organic materials such as fallen leaves, so that we are going to get manure from that soil. Next is we are ready for planting. The fifth step is we are ready for planting, that is we are going to sow seeds. The final step is maintenance and monitor. Okay, for first few years we have to maintain it very carefully, like watering it regularly and taking care of any infections to the plants and other things by applying fertilizers and insecticides like herbicides, insecticides and other things. Okay, these are the six steps involved in Miyawaki method. Next topic for the day is Project Cheetah. What is Project Cheetah? Recently there have been deaths of cheetah. Where? In Kuno forest. Kuno wildlife, it is a national park. Kuno National Park. And after this event, our central government has appointed a new steering committee comprising national and international experts to oversee implementation of this particular Project Cheetah. So what is Project Cheetah? Why have we developed Project Cheetah? What was the history of cheetahs in our country? That we have to understand. Okay, Project Cheetah, after being reported extinct in India, okay, it was reported extinct in the year 1952. Okay, that is before 7 decades. The cheetah made comeback through this Project Cheetah. Okay, next, the government of India reintroduced 8 African cheetah, okay, consisting of 5 female and 3 males at Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, all these points are important. Where is this Kuno National Park located? In Madhya Pradesh. Okay. Next, cheetah. Origin and approval of Project Cheetah. How did we arrive at this point? That we have to know. Project Cheetah received approval from Supreme Court of India when in January 2020 as a pilot program to reintroduce cheetah into our country. Okay, but then this initiative was initially proposed in the year 2009 itself. By whom? By Indian conservationists in collaboration with Cheetah Conservation Fund. What is this Cheetah Conservation Fund? It is a non-profit organization which is headquartered in Namibia, okay, Africa. Next, this CCF, that is Cheetah Conservation Fund, is dedicated to preservation and rehabilitation of cheetahs in their natural habitats. So it has to be preserved and rehabilitated in their natural habitat. That is the main focus of this particular body, that is Cheetah Conservation Fund, which is a non-profit organization based in Namibia. Next, we have to see the chronology of events, how the cheetah got extinct in our country. Was there cheetah in our country or not? That we have to understand. In medieval times, especially during Mughal times, these cheetahs were extensively used for hunting purposes. Okay, and the best example given here is Emperor Akbar had a menagerie of 1,000 cheetahs. Okay, he had a menagerie. What is a menagerie? Menagerie is like a zoo. Okay, that is a large group of animal kept in a captivity is called as a menagerie. Okay, he had 1,000 cheetahs. Okay, how is he having this? They are being used for hunting purposes. Okay, next there are also various other states in central India like Gwalior which had cheetahs. This is in medieval times, which means the population of cheetah is good in number. Next, in the year 1947, slowly when we come to 1947, there were only 3 cheetahs surviving, and all these 3 cheetahs were shot by Maharaja Ramanuj Pratap Singh, who was a ruler of small princely state in Chhattisgarh. Okay, and then India's last spotted cheetah died in Sal forest of Chhattisgarh in Korea district. Okay, in the year 1948, and from then onwards we did not find any cheetahs in the wild. Okay, thus in the year 1952 we officially announced that the cheetah is extinct from our country. Okay, following this in 1970s we took efforts to reintroduce cheetah. From where? From Iran. Okay, we proposed for a swapping process. Swapping between what and what? Swapping between India's Asiatic lions and Iran's Asiatic cheetahs. Okay, we had this plan, but then it was not devised. It did not. And in the year 2009, again we took efforts to reintroduce Iranian cheetahs, but then this time the Iran government did not permit cloning or export of its cheetah. Okay, they had a law which prohibited cloning or export of cheetah, thus we could not introduce cheetah from Iran. Okay, then in the year 2012, reintroduction of cheetah was halted by Supreme Court's order. Again in the year 2020, okay, recently, South African experts surveyed 4 potential areas in Madhya Pradesh state. Okay, what are the 4 potential areas? Kuno Palpur National Park, Nauradei Wildlife Sanctuary, Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary, and then Madhav National Park. All these are in Madhya Pradesh only, so it is very important. Okay, they have surveyed 4 potential areas, and of these 4 potential areas they have chosen Kuno Palpur National Park for reintroduction of Namibian cheetahs, and they have reintroduced it. So what is the basis for the recent translocation? That we have to understand. Why is it important? Because they are following certain approach called as coexistence approach. What is this coexistence approach? That is reintroduction of cheetah in an unfenced protected area using a coexistent approach. Okay, generally animals like cheetah should not be fenced in a particular area. They cannot live happily there. So it has to be an unfenced protected area. But so they have gone for Kuno National Park. So Kuno National Park is a perfect breeding area for cheetahs because it is largely free from human made threats. So that is why it is important. Next is, what are the challenges involved in Project Cheetah? First thing is habitation stress. They are taken from a different country and then introduced in our country, Kuno National Park. So there will be difference in habitat. Okay, so this will induce anxiety and stress, hindering the reproduction. The main process they have been brought here is reproduction. They have to reproduce in our land so that their population will increase in India. But then they will undergo anxiety and stress due to change in habitats. Okay, next is acclimatization issues. What is this? That is climate, prey species and overall conditions in the Kuno forest may not stimulate mating or reproduction. Okay, they are put in a different environment. Earlier they were in different environment, but the environment here may not be suitable for them to go for reproduction or mating processes. Next is prolonged captivity. When they were traveling, they were put into prolonged captivity. This might also have induced stress and anxiety in them, again hindering the process of reproduction. Next, this point is also very important. That is, relocation program is considered an experiment. This is only an experimental process. Thus, if there is going to be death or birth, it should not be seen as a definitive success or failure. Okay, we are only experimenting this. We are relocating cheetahs and experimenting that in our country. So this process should not be considered or categorized for success and failure based on the births and deaths that has been events that has been occurring. Okay. So the next topic for the day is olive ridley turtles. From this session onwards, in every environment based current affairs session, we will be focusing on a particular species in each session. Okay, and for today's session we have olive ridleys. Olive ridleys will be in news very often. That is because of a particular area in our country, that is Odisha, which is a breeding site, an important breeding site and also a largest breeding site all over the world. Okay, for what? For this olive ridley turtles. So what are these olive ridley turtles? They are smallest and most abundant of all sea turtles. So smallest, important, and also most abundant of all sea turtles. All these points are important, found in the world. Next is, these turtles are carnivores. Yes, again important. Their feeding habit is important and they get their name from olive colored carapace. What is carapace? Their shell is called as carapace. Next is, they are best known for their unique mass nesting called as aribada. This term is very important. So mass nesting of olive ridley turtles is called as aribada. Okay, where thousands of females come together on a same beach to lay eggs. Okay, aribada. Let us witness aribada. So this is how it will be. Okay, mass nesting. Thousands of turtles will come to the beach for nesting purposes. That is, they lay their eggs in the soil, beach sand. Okay. Next, what is its habitat? Where all we can find olive ridley turtles? They are found in warm waters of Pacific, Atlantic and Indian Ocean. Points like these are very important. Okay. Next is, in India, particularly Odisha's Gahirmata Marine Sanctuary. It is world's largest rookery. What is a rookery? A colony of breeding animal is called as a rookery. Okay, so it is world's largest rookery of sea turtle. Where do we have Gahirmata? This is Odisha, and in this location is Gahirmata beach. Okay, wildlife sanctuary. There, that particular location is a marine sanctuary where we find the largest breeding site of olive ridleys. Next, there are also other nesting sites for olive ridleys other than Gahirmata, that is Rushikulya Rookery Coast, mouth of the river Damra and also mouth of the river Devi. Okay, we have Damra river, we have Rushikulya river and then Devi river. The mouths of all these rivers are nesting sites. Okay, all these rivers are in Odisha only. Next, what is its protection status? Under Wildlife Protection Act, it is under Schedule 1. Next, in IUCN Red List, it is categorized as vulnerable. And then in sites, they are under Appendix 1. All these points are very important. Protection status based questions have also been asked in the past. Next is initiatives to protect olive ridley turtles. Sorry. Initiatives to protect olive ridley turtles. What are the initiatives that we have taken? First thing is Operation Olivia. This Olivia is denoting olive ridley. Okay. So every year Indian Coast Guard, who is doing this operation? Indian Coast Guard is doing this operation. It is called Operation Olivia. Why have they initiated this operation? To protect olive ridley turtle as they congregate, that is they come together along the Odisha's coast for breeding and nesting in the month of November and December. So when do they come? That is also important. They come in the months of November and December, and this initiative was started in early 1980s. Next is tagging of olive ridley turtles. What is tagging? That is like giving an identity card to olive ridley turtles. So tagging of endangered olive ridley turtles using non-corrosive metals. They will be given tags, okay, metal tags, so that they can chart their movements and know the areas they visit to protect species and their habitats. Okay, where all they visit, we can identify using those tags. Okay, will be getting electronic signals from that. Next is turtle excluder device. What is this turtle excluder device? We'll be using trawls, right? To catch fish, we'll be using trawls like this. In that, there are chances that turtles may also get caught in that. That must not be the case. Okay, they should not die in this process of getting caught inside this trawls. So what they have is, they have something called as turtle excluder device, which is there will be an exit option in this trawl itself. Okay, there is a trawl, and in this there will be an exit option, and using this exit option, this turtle will come outside. Okay, they can escape. That is called as turtle excluder device, and this has been mandated by Odisha government. Okay, so to reduce accidental killing in India, Odisha government has made it mandatory for trawls to use turtle excluder device. Okay, a net specially designed with an exit, that is called as this device, TED device. The next point is threats faced by olive ridley turtles. What are the threats that olive ridley turtle face? First is human activities. Obviously, we go for coastal development, but coastal areas are the areas where they come for nesting. Other than that, fishing is a main problem, and then pollution. Water pollution is again a problem for olive ridley turtles. Next is there are predators. Natural predators are also there, like dogs, hyenas, and other birds which eat egg and hatchlings of olive ridley. Next is climate change. Obviously, it is a problem because there is rising temperatures and sea levels which impacts the nesting process. Okay. Next is light pollution. They are very sensitive to lights also. Okay. If there is artificial lights nearby, then they tend to approach those areas so that they will not return back to the sea again. Thus, in this process, they may get attacked by dogs, hyenas, and other birds. Okay, so light pollution is also a problem here. The last point is there is a particular award called Baylor Turtle Conservation Award, which was established in the year 2006, and it is a major annual international award which honors excellence in the field of tortoise and freshwater turtle conservation. And this award is considered as Nobel Prize of Turtle Conservation. And who is awarding this and who is presenting this annually? It is presented annually. That is also important. There are certain awards which are presented biannually or even biennially. Okay, you must know the difference. Next, who is presenting it? Turtle Survival Alliance, IUCN Tortoise, Freshwater Turtle Specialist Group, Turtle Conservancy and Turtle Conservation Fund. All of these bodies or agencies together are giving this particular award, which is considered as Nobel Prize for Turtle Conservation. Okay, so with this we have come to end of today's session. I hope you found the session to be useful and informative. Let us meet in the next session. Thank you all.